Could your date today benefit from a poet's touch? What if the secrets to truly captivating someone were hidden in ancient songs of longing and devotion? Could medieval charm actually help you win hearts in the modern world? Number 1. Master the art of the idealized compliment. In the sun-drenched lands of medieval Provence, long before dating apps and casual meetups, there lived a special kind of artist. These were the troubadours, poets, and musicians who traveled from castle to castle, singing songs of love, chivalry, and adventure. Their songs weren't just about dragons and knights. They were often about a specific kind of love known as courtly love, or fin amour. This wasn't your everyday crush. This was an elevated, almost spiritual kind of devotion, often directed towards a noble lady who was already married and usually of higher social standing than the troubadour himself. The lady, known as the domna, was seen as a perfect being, a source of all virtue and beauty. The troubadour, the humble lover, would dedicate his entire artistic output, his very existence, to praising her. This brings us to our first dating tip, the idealized compliment. Think about how troubadours approached this. They didn't just say, "You look nice today." Oh no, that would be far too pedestrian for the courtly love tradition. Troubadour, like Bernard de Ventadorn, one of the most famous and influential troubadours, whose melodies and words echoed through the courts of the 12th century, would pen lines that compared his lady's beauty to the blossoming of spring, her eyes to the brightest stars, her presence to the purest joy found in heaven itself. He would describe her virtue as unmatched, her wisdom as profound, and her grace as something truly divine. These weren't just simple compliments. They were elaborate poetic odes, carefully crafted verses that sought to elevate the lady to an almost mythical status. Consider the depth of this approach. It wasn't about simply noticing something superficial. It was about seeing the entire person, or at least the idealized version of them, as a source of profound inspiration. Troubadour's goal was to make the lady feel utterly unique, irreplaceable, and worthy of boundless admiration. They would highlight not just physical attractiveness, though that was certainly part of it, but also character traits, inner beauty, and the profound effect her mere existence had on the troubadour. For example, a troubadour might sing about how his lady's kindness illuminated the darkest corners of his soul, or how her voice, when she spoke, could soothe the wildest beasts. They believed that by praising her, they were also elevating themselves, proving their own noble spirit through their ability to recognize and celebrate such perfection. It means moving beyond the basic, "You're pretty," or "You're funny." While those are nice, they are often generic. An idealized compliment, inspired by the troubadours, asks you to look deeper. It asks you to observe the person you are interested in with a more discerning and appreciative eye. What makes them truly special to you? Is it their unique laugh that brings a smile to your face even when you are having a bad day? Is it their unwavering passion for a particular hobby, a passion that shines in their eyes and makes them utterly captivating when they talk about it? Is it their thoughtful nature, how they remember small details about you that no one else seems to notice? An idealized compliment in today's world could sound something like this. The way you light up when you talk about their passion is truly inspiring. It makes me want to learn more about the world just to see it through your eyes. Or, I really admire how you handled challenges with such grace and resilience. It makes me feel like there's nothing you can't overcome. This isn't about being dishonest or making things up. It's about focusing on the best qualities, highlighting what you genuinely find admirable and unique about them. It's about expressing your appreciation in a way that shows you've actually paid attention, that you see them not just as another person, but as someone with truly remarkable qualities. Troubadours understood that a well-placed, deeply felt compliment could open doors that mere flattery could not. It built a foundation of respect and admiration. When the lady heard these songs, she wasn't just hearing a pretty tune. She was hearing an affirmation of her worth, a testament to her unique place in the troubadour's world. This kind of deep, sincere admiration is powerful because it makes the recipient feel seen, valued, and understood on a level beyond the superficial. Distinguishes you from everyone else who offers generic praise. It shows that you've taken the time to truly notice, to think, and to articulate your appreciation in a meaningful way. Moreover, the troubadours often incorporated the idea of joy, a profound and almost mystical joy that the lover experienced in the presence or even just the thought of his beloved. This joy wasn't just happiness. It was a state of intense spiritual and emotional ecstasy brought about by the lady's perfection. When you give an idealized compliment today, you are essentially trying to articulate the joy that the person brings to your life. You are attempting to put into words the positive impact they have on you, the unique sparkle they add to your world. This is far more ambitious than a simple statement about appearance. Connects with their inner self, their character, their spirit. So, how can you practice this? Start by observing. Before you even think about speaking, spend some time truly looking at the person you are interested in. What are their mannerisms? What are their passions? What about their personality draws you in? Is it their sharp wit, their quiet kindness, their adventurous spirit, their unwavering loyalty? Then, try to articulate what makes that quality special, not just for them, but for you. How does it affect you? How does it inspire you? When you deliver this kind of compliment, do so with sincerity. Eye contact is key, but not an intense, unblinking stare. A warm, genuine look that conveys your earnestness. Your tone of voice should be gentle and respectful, not loud or boastful. The goal is to convey genuine admiration, not to perform. The troubadour's world was one of codes and symbols where every gesture and word carried weight. Their idealized compliments were not empty words. They were declarations of profound feeling, meticulously crafted to express the unattainable beauty and virtue of their beloved. By drawing inspiration from this tradition, you learn to look past the surface, to identify the truly exceptional qualities in another person, and to express your appreciation for those qualities in a way that is both specific and deeply personal. This approach fosters a connection that goes beyond fleeting attraction, building a foundation of genuine respect and admiration just as it did in the medieval courts of love. It's about celebrating the unique essence of another human being, making them feel like a genuine masterpiece worthy of a troubadour's song. And in a world often saturated with superficial interactions, that kind of genuine appreciation can be incredibly powerful and deeply captivating. Number 2. Embrace the power of the slow burn. In the age of instant gratification, where swiping left or right can decide your romantic fate in seconds, the idea of a slow burn might seem utterly foreign, perhaps even a little boring. But for the troubadours and the practitioners of courtly love, patience was not just a virtue. It was a fundamental pillar of the entire romantic experience. The journey of courtly love was not a sprint. It was a marathon, often an endless one. Troubadour, the devoted lover, would spend years, sometimes even decades, in unwavering devotion to his lady. His love was enduring, tested by time, distance, and often the deliberate indifference of the lady herself. He didn't expect immediate reciprocation, let alone immediate physical intimacy. His reward was often the mere hope of a kind glance, a gentle word, or perhaps, in the most exceptional circumstances, a brief touch. This long, drawn-out process was considered noble and refined, a testament to the purity and strength of the lover's feelings. Think about the famous troubadour Geoffrey Rudel, the Prince of Blay, who supposedly fell in love with the Countess of Tripoli without ever having met her. He had only heard tales of her beauty and virtue from pilgrims returning from the Holy Land. So profound was his love from afar that he composed songs about her, filled with yearning and devotion, and eventually embarked on a perilous journey across the Mediterranean to see her. He fell gravely ill during the voyage and, according to legend, died in her arms shortly after reaching Tripoli. This extreme example highlights the depth of patience and perseverance that was not only celebrated but expected in the courtly love tradition. It was about the journey, the devotion, the enduring commitment, rather than a quick conquest. This concept of the slow burn meant that love wasn't something you simply achieved. It was something you cultivated, nurtured, and allowed to deepen over time. It was about building anticipation, allowing desire to grow, and proving one's steadfastness through consistent, long-term effort. The lady, in her elevated position, would often remain aloof, testing the troubadour's sincerity and commitment. This resistance, far from being a deterrent, was often seen as enhancing the value of the love, making any eventual, however small, sign of favor from the lady all the more precious. It demonstrated that the troubadour's love was not fleeting or impulsive, but deeply rooted and unwavering. So how can you embrace the power of the slow burn in modern dating? It means resisting the urge to rush into things. It means taking the time to truly get to know someone, to understand their personality, their values, their dreams, and their quirks, before expecting a declaration of undying love or a committed relationship. Instead of aiming for immediate romantic intensity, focus on building a strong foundation of friendship, mutual respect, and shared experiences. This involves more than just a few quick dates. It involves consistent, thoughtful communication, shared activities that reveal different facets of each other's personalities, and a willingness to simply enjoy each other's company without the pressure of defining a relationship too quickly. For instance, instead of going for the dramatic grand gesture on the first or second date, consider a series of smaller, more intimate interactions. Maybe you suggest meeting for coffee several times, or taking a walk in a park, or visiting a museum together. These activities allow for conversation and connection to develop naturally, without the high stakes of a formal dinner date. It's about creating space for genuine interaction, for learning about each other's interests and perspectives, rather than trying to impress with a display of wealth or showmanship. Troubadours weren't about grand financial gestures. They were about grand emotional and artistic gestures, delivered patiently over time. Embracing the slow burn also means being patient with yourself and with the other person. It means not getting discouraged if things don't escalate as quickly as you might expect or desire. Just as the troubadour understood that his lady's favor was a prize to be earned through sustained effort, modern daters can understand that a truly meaningful connection takes time to mature. It involves understanding that genuine emotional intimacy is built brick by brick through shared vulnerabilities, honest conversations, and a consistent presence in each other's lives. It's about showing up reliably, over time, demonstrating through your actions that you are a dependable and trustworthy person. This approach can also help you weed out superficial connections. In the medieval context, the troubadour's prolonged devotion proved his sincerity. Similarly, in modern dating, someone who is willing to invest time and effort without immediate gratification is often someone who is genuinely interested in a deeper connection, not just a fleeting one. It allows both parties to assess compatibility more thoroughly, to discover if their values align, and to determine if there is a sustainable basis for a long-term relationship. Prevents the kind of quick burnout that often happens when relationships escalate too fast, based on initial chemistry rather than true compatibility. Furthermore, the slow burn builds anticipation and desire. Just as the troubadour's longing for his lady intensified with each passing day of respectful admiration, so too can mutual interest deepen when allowed to unfold gradually. When you are not rushing into a relationship, there is a natural intrigue that builds. Each conversation reveals something new. Each shared experience adds another layer to your understanding of the person. This gradual unfolding can be far more exciting and satisfying than a whirlwind romance that fizzles out as quickly as it began. Creates a sense of discovery, a journey of uncovering the multifaceted dimensions of another individual. In practice, the slow burn means not pushing for labels or commitments too early, allowing space for both individuals to maintain their own lives and interests even as a connection grows. Prioritizing consistent quality interaction over frequent superficial contact. Being comfortable with ambiguity in the early stages, letting the relationship define itself naturally. Demonstrating consistency in communication and action, showing that your interest is steady and reliable. Cultivating a sense of mutual comfort and trust, allowing both parties to feel safe and vulnerable. The troubadours understood that the most profound loves were those that ripened slowly, like fine wine. They knew that true devotion was proven not by grand declarations made in haste, but by steadfast loyalty displayed over months and years. By embracing the power of the slow burn, you adopt a mindset that values depth over speed, substance over flash. You give a potential relationship the time and space it needs to blossom authentically, rather than forcing it into a predetermined shape. This approach cultivates a foundation of mutual understanding and respect that can withstand the test of time, just as the troubadours' enduring songs continue to resonate centuries later. It's about building something real, something lasting, brick by slow, careful brick. Number 3. Become a giver, not a taker. The heart of troubadour courtly love was a profound sense of service and devotion. Troubadour, the fidèle amant, or faithful lover, saw himself as the humble servant of his lady, the domna. This was not a relationship of equals in terms of social standing or power. The lady was elevated, almost worshipped, and the troubadour's role was to serve her, to please her, and to demonstrate his unwavering loyalty. This service was not about expecting something in return immediately. It was about giving freely, out of pure devotion, believing that the act of giving itself and the hope of meriting the lady's favor was its own reward. He would dedicate his songs to her, brave dangers in her name, and simply exist as her devoted admirer, hoping for the slightest sign of her approval. This concept of service extended beyond grand gestures. It was about anticipating the lady's needs, defending her honor, and conducting oneself in a way that would be pleasing to her. Troubadour's entire life, his artistic output, and his moral conduct were often shaped by his devotion to the lady. He sought to become a better person, a more refined individual, precisely because he was serving such an idealized being. His songs often contained prayers for her well-being, pleas for her distant affection, and promises of eternal faithfulness. The ideal was to pour out one's devotion without reservation, placing the beloved's perceived needs and desires above one's own. William IX, Duke of Aquitaine, one of the earliest known troubadours, despite his high rank, composed songs that, while sometimes bawdy, also contained elements of the service and devotion, often praising a lady's qualities and lamenting her absence. Later, troubadours like Bernard de Ventadorn perfected this theme, portraying themselves as humble servants whose lives were defined by their unwavering love for their unattainable lady. Their songs were often a lament of their suffering in love, yet they endured this suffering willingly as a form of service to their beloved. The suffering itself was seen as a noble part of the experience, a testament to the depth of their devotion. How does this medieval idea of being a giver, not a taker, apply to modern dating. It means shifting your mindset from "what can I get from this person" to "what can I offer to this person?" It's about approaching a potential relationship with a spirit of generosity, thoughtfulness, and genuine care. This doesn't mean being a doormat or letting someone take advantage of you. Instead, it means being proactive in demonstrating your care and consideration without expecting immediate reciprocation or tallying up favors. Being a giver in modern dating can manifest in many ways. It could be as simple as truly listening when they speak, without interrupting or formulating your own response. It could be remembering details they shared with you, their favorite type of coffee, a difficult day they had at work, a small passion project they mentioned, and then following up on it. Maybe you send them a link to an article related to their interest, or offer a word of encouragement on a tough day, or bring them that specific coffee order. These are small acts of service that show you pay attention, that you care about their well-being, and that you are willing to make an effort for their comfort or happiness. It's also about anticipating needs. For example, if you are out together and you notice they are cold, you offer your jacket without being asked. If they seem stressed, you might offer to help them brainstorm solutions to a problem, or simply provide a comforting presence. This isn't about grand, expensive gestures. It's about consistent, thoughtful actions that demonstrate you are attuned to their state, and that you are willing to provide support and care. The medieval troubadour didn't have much material wealth to offer his lady, but he offered his undying spirit, his artistic talent, and his boundless loyalty. In a modern context, your gifts are your time, your attention, your empathy, and your genuine efforts to make their life a little bit better or easier. This approach builds trust and creates a sense of safety within a budding relationship. When someone feels that you are genuinely invested in their well-being and happiness, without an immediate expectation of return, they are more likely to open up and connect on a deeper level. It demonstrates that you are a reliable and sportive person, someone who can be counted on. This fosters a sense of security and allows for a more authentic connection to develop. It is the opposite of transactional dating, where each person is calculating what they are getting versus what they are giving. The troubadour's devotion, though often unrequited in a direct sense, was its own reward because it cultivated virtue and refinement in the lover. Similarly, in modern dating, cultivating a generous and giving spirit can make you a more appealing and fulfilling person. It shifts your focus away from self-centered desires and towards a more empathetic and compassionate outlook. This change in perspective can make you more attractive, not just to a potential partner, but in all your relationships. It shows maturity and genuine interest in another person's well-being. Consider how this applies to communication. A giving communicator listens actively, asks thoughtful questions, and seeks to understand the other person's perspective. They offer emotional support and validation without judgment. They are willing to share their own vulnerabilities, but they don't dominate the conversation. They aim to create a space where the other person feels heard, understood, and respected. This is a form of service, serving the needs of the conversation and the emotional needs of the other person. Ultimately, the troubadour's example teaches us that true devotion isn't just about declaring love. It's about enacting it through consistent, thoughtful service. By adopting a giver mentality in dating, you are embodying a profound respect for the other person, valuing their happiness and well-being as much as your own. You are showing them that you are someone who is willing to put in the effort, to be present, and to offer support, not out of obligation, but out of genuine care. This kind of selfless approach, rooted in the ancient songs of devotion, can be incredibly powerful in building deep, meaningful connections in any era. It transforms the often selfish pursuit of a relationship into a noble act of genuine care and service. Number 4. Channel your inner secret agent. Secrecy and discretion were paramount in the world of courtly love. Given that the lady was often married and of high social standing, and the troubadour her humble admirer, their relationship, if it could even be called that in a conventional sense, had to remain hidden. To reveal the lady's identity, or even to speak too openly about the nature of his devotion, would bring shame and danger upon her, and possibly severe punishment for the troubadour. The songs themselves were often encoded with veiled references, using allegories and metaphors to hint at the beloved's identity, without explicitly naming her. The troubadour might refer to his lady as "middens, my lord," blurring gender lines and adding another layer of mystique and concealment. This discretion was not just a matter of practicality. It was an integral part of the romance, adding to its intrigue and intensity. The idea of fin amour itself often thrived in this atmosphere of concealment. The very challenge of maintaining secrecy heightened the emotional stakes and made any small gesture of favor from the lady all the more precious. It created a private world between the troubadour and his lady, shielded from the judgmental eyes of society. This exclusivity, the shared secret, bound them in a unique way, even if the direct interaction was minimal. The troubadour's suffering and longing were often publicly known through his songs, but the object of his affection remained shrouded in mystery, known only to him and perhaps to the lady herself. The risk involved in even this veiled devotion made the connection feel profound and dangerous, amplifying its allure. Rimbaud de Vaqueras, another notable troubadour, even composed a song where he adopted the persona of a deaf and mute man to secretly convey his love to a lady, highlighting the lengths to which troubadours might go to maintain discretion. The idea was to protect the lady's reputation and honor at all costs, demonstrating the troubadour's absolute loyalty and respect for her social standing. This protection was a vital part of his service and proof of his worthy love. Any breach of discretion would be a grave betrayal, shattering the delicate balance of the courtly love dynamic. So, how can you channel your inner secret agent in modern dating? It means embracing discretion and privacy, particularly in the early stages of a connection. In a world where every detail of our lives is often shared on social media, there's a powerful allure in keeping certain aspects of a burgeoning relationship private. This doesn't mean being secretive or dishonest about your interest in someone, but rather not broadcasting every date, every conversation, or every feeling to the world before the connection has had a chance to truly solidify. Think about the intrigue this creates. When you don't immediately post about every person you are seeing, you allow the relationship to develop organically away from the pressure of public scrutiny or external opinions. This privacy can make the connection feel more intimate and special, known only to the two people involved. It creates a shared, exclusive space where true feelings can blossom without the noise of outside commentary or the urge to perform for an audience. It allows the focus to remain on the actual connection between individuals, rather than on its public perception. This discretion also protects both parties. Just as revealing the lady's identity could cause her harm in medieval times, oversharing about a new relationship too early can create unnecessary pressure, inviting speculation, judgment, or even envy from others. It might also prematurely define a relationship before either person is ready for that level of commitment. By keeping things low-key, you are giving the relationship the space it needs to breathe and grow, allowing both individuals to feel safe and comfortable in exploring their connection. Furthermore, a certain level of discretion implies maturity and respect. It shows that you value the privacy of the person you are dating and that you understand the importance of building a foundation before bringing others into the fold. It communicates that you are serious about getting to know them on a personal level, not just as a part of your public image. This approach demonstrates thoughtfulness and consideration, qualities that are highly valued in any relationship. It signals that you are not just chasing likes or validation, but a genuine human connection in practice. Channeling your inner secret agent means holding back on social media. Resist the urge to post pictures or details about early dates. Let the relationship develop offline first. Save the public declarations for when things are serious and mutually agreed upon. This doesn't mean hiding the person, but simply not making your dating life a public spectacle. Not oversharing with friends and family. While it's natural to confide in close friends, be mindful of how much detail you share, especially in the very early stages. Respect the other person's privacy and allow them to share their own story when they are ready. Avoid discussing intimate details that haven't been mutually agreed upon, allowing ambiguity to be charming. Just as the Troubadours' veiled language added to the mystery, a little bit of mystery in modern dating can be a good thing. You don't need to lay all your cards on the table immediately. Let the other person discover things about you gradually, and vice versa. Creating shared private moments. Focus on experiences that are just for the two of you, away from crowds or distractions. This strengthens the unique bond you are forming and makes the connection feel more exclusive and precious. It's about building a shared world that belongs only to the two of you. The Troubadours understood that a love that was carefully guarded, protected from the harsh light of public scrutiny, could flourish with a special kind of intensity. This is not about being deceptive, but about being judicious and respectful with information. By channeling your inner secret agent, you are creating a sacred space for your connection to grow, free from external pressures and premature judgments. You are showing the other person that you value their privacy and the intimacy of your shared experience, allowing a genuine and powerful bond to develop in its own time and on its own terms. It fosters a sense of trust and exclusivity that can be incredibly powerful in building a lasting connection. Number 5. Speak their language poetically. Troubadours were masters of language, poets who meticulously crafted verses to express the nuances of their love and devotion. Their songs, known as cansos, were not just simple expressions of feeling. They were complex artistic works, often using intricate rhyme schemes, meters, and rich imagery. They understood that the way you expressed your emotions, the very words you chose, could elevate a mundane sentiment into a profound declaration. They used metaphors, allegories, and sophisticated rhetorical devices to convey the depth of their passion, their suffering, and their unwavering loyalty to their ladies. The language itself became a vessel for their idealized vision of love, a means to persuade, to charm, and to inspire awe. Think of Bernard de Ventadorn again, whose poetry is famed for its melodic quality and emotional intensity. His cansos are filled with vivid descriptions of nature, mirroring his inner turmoil or the sublime beauty of his lady. He doesn't just say, "I miss you." He might describe the world as a barren wasteland in her absence, or his heart as a bird trapped in a cage. This elevated, evocative language wasn't just for show. It was designed to penetrate the lady's heart, to demonstrate the troubadour's sensitivity and artistic skill, and to prove the authenticity and depth of his feelings. It showed that he was willing to put significant effort into expressing his emotions, treating them as worthy of artistic creation. Moreover, courtly love often involved a complex interplay of emotions, including joy, longing, desire, and suffering, dolor. Troubadours developed a rich vocabulary to articulate these experiences, giving form and voice to the otherwise inexpressible. They understood that to truly connect with someone, you needed to speak in a way that resonated with their sensibilities, that appealed to their intellect and their emotions simultaneously. They weren't just saying what they felt, but how they felt it, with all the accompanying passion and nuance. How does this translate to modern dating? It means going beyond generic phrases and cliches. It means paying attention to how the person you are interested in expresses themselves, what kind of language they respond to, and then tailoring your communication to resonate with them on a deeper level. This isn't about being fake or adopting a persona. It's about being thoughtful and intentional with your words, choosing language that truly speaks to them and expresses your genuine feelings in a powerful way. Speaking their language poetically means understanding their preferred mode of communication. Do they appreciate humor? Do they value directness? Are they more responsive to emotional depth or intellectual stimulation? Do they enjoy witty banter, or do they prefer heartfelt sincerity? By observing their communication style, you can adapt your own to create a more harmonious and effective dialogue. This shows that you are listening, that you are paying attention to their individual preferences, and that you respect their unique way of engaging with the world. For example, if the person you are interested in is a highly logical and analytical thinker, you might use precise language, articulate your thoughts clearly, and back up your statements with reasoning. If they are very emotionally expressive and intuitive, you might use more evocative language, focus on shared feelings, and describe your experiences in a way that appeals to their emotions. If they have a playful and witty personality, you might engage in clever wordplay and light-hearted teasing. This isn't about mimicking them, but about tuning into their wavelength. Furthermore, speaking poetically means choosing your words with care and intention. Instead of a hurried text, perhaps a thoughtful message that describes a feeling or a memory in a more vivid way. Instead of, "I had a good time," you might say, "Your laughter today was genuinely infectious, and I found myself smiling long after we parted ways." This kind of language is specific, evocative, and shows that you've put thought and effort into your communication. It's about creating a miniature song or poem in your everyday interactions. It also involves using descriptive language that paints a picture. Just as a troubadour would describe the beauty of his lady's eyes or the sorrow of her absence, you can use imagery to make your communication more avid. For instance, instead of saying, "I like spending time with you," you might say, "Being with you feels like discovering a new favorite melody that I want to listen to on repeat." This kind of phrasing elevates the sentiment, making it more memorable and personal. It suggests a deeper emotional engagement than a simple statement. Troubadours also understood the power of sincerity in their expression, even if the love was idealized. Similarly, in modern dating, your poetic language must be rooted in genuine feeling. It's not about sounding eloquent for the sake of it, but about finding the most effective and heartfelt way to articulate what you truly feel and observe. Chosen words become the conduit for your sincere emotions. Speaking their language poetically can also involve reflecting their interests back to them in a creative way. If they are passionate about a particular form of art, you might use artistic metaphors when communicating with them. If they love nature, you might draw parallels to the natural world in your expressions of appreciation. This demonstrates that you are not only listening, but that you are also engaging with their world, finding common ground and valuing their unique perspectives. It shows that you are making an effort to connect with them on their terms. Ultimately, the troubadours teach us that language is a powerful tool in matters of the heart. By speaking their language poetically, you are moving beyond transactional communication and engaging in a more artful, thoughtful, and deeply personal dialogue. You are showing that you value the other person enough to choose your words with care, to express your feelings with depth and originality, and to connect with them in a way that truly resonates with their unique spirit. This kind of communication can foster a profound sense of understanding and connection, making your words far more memorable and able than any generic sentiment. Transforms ordinary conversations into opportunities for genuine, meaningful connection, just as the troubadour transformed his feelings into timeless art. Number 6. The eyes have it. Your gaze is your game. In the intricate dance of courtly love, where direct communication could be risky and physical intimacy often forbidden, nonverbal cues carried immense weight. The gaze, specifically, was a powerful tool for troubadours and their ladies. A lingering look, a fleeting glance, a subtle shift in eye contact could convey volumes of unspoken longing, admiration, or even subtle encouragement. It was a silent conversation, full of nuance and hidden meaning, understood only by the two participants. The troubadour might sing of his lady's eyes as the source of his inspiration or his torment, and a single favorable look from her could be enough to sustain him for days, confirming his hopes and fueling his devotion. The lover's gaze was not merely about looking at someone, it was about seeing them with an intense, focused attention that communicated deep emotion. It was a form of silent communication that bypassed words, speaking directly to the heart. In a society where public displays of affection were out of the question, and overt declarations of love from a troubadour to a married lady were dangerous, the eyes became the primary conduit for expressing and receiving affection. The act of looking and being looked at in a specific way was a powerful affirmation of the unique bond shared, however unspoken. This secret communication through the eyes added to the mystique and intensity of courtly love. It created a private world, a shared understanding that existed purely through subtle signals. The lady might use her eyes to offer a hint of favor, a moment of recognition, or even a challenge to the troubadour. The troubadour, in turn, would hang on her every glance, interpreting its meaning, finding hope or despair in the flicker of her gaze. This intense focus on visual cues made every interaction laden with significance, transforming simple eye contact into a profound exchange. How does this medieval understanding of the gaze translate to modern dating? In a world saturated with digital communication, the power of real in-person eye contact has become even more pronounced. It's about using your eyes to communicate interest, sincerity, and presence, going beyond mere politeness to establish a deeper connection. This doesn't mean staring unblinkingly, which can be unsettling, but rather mastering the art of the intentional communicative gaze. First, eye contact signals engagement and presence. In an age where people are often distracted by their phones or multitasking, giving someone your full, undivided attention through your eyes demonstrates respect and genuine interest. When you are truly listening to someone, your eyes naturally convey that you are absorbing their words, their emotions, and their very presence. This makes the other person feel valued, heard, and important. It shows that you are fully present in the moment with them, something that is increasingly rare and therefore incredibly powerful. Second, the intentional gaze can convey admiration and attraction without needing a single word. Just as the troubadour's longing was evident in his eyes, a warm, genuine look can communicate your attraction in a subtle yet powerful way. This could be a sustained glance that lingers a moment longer than usual, a softening of your eyes when they speak about something they are passionate about, or a brief, intimate look shared across a room. These are non-verbal cues that build connection and intrigue, often speaking louder than any spoken compliment. They create a shared, intimate moment that transcends language. Third, a communicative gaze can also show sincerity and trustworthiness. When you maintain appropriate eye contact, it conveys confidence and honesty. It suggests that you have nothing to hide, that you are genuinely interested in connecting, and that you are present in the conversation. This builds trust and makes the other person feel more comfortable opening up to you. It creates a sense of vulnerability and authenticity, allowing for a deeper emotional bond to form. However, it's crucial to understand the nuances. The medieval troubadour's gaze was often one of reverence and longing, not aggressive pursuit. Similarly, in modern dating, your gaze should be warm, inviting, and respectful, not intense or demanding. It's about making the other person feel seen and appreciated, not scrutinized. A genuine smile that reaches your eyes, combined with steady but not unbroken eye contact, is usually the most effective approach. Breaking eye contact occasionally and naturally, then re-establishing it, makes the interaction feel more comfortable and less intimidating. Practice this by being mindful in your interactions. When someone is speaking to you consciously, try to maintain eye contact that shows you are listening. Notice the color of their eyes, the subtle expressions in their face. Let your eyes convey your interest and warmth. When you are speaking, use eye contact to emphasize points, to gauge their reaction, and to make your words more éveillés. It's about using your eyes as a bridge to connection rather than just as tools for seeing. Think about moments when you felt a powerful connection with someone through eye contact alone. Perhaps it was a shared understanding during a difficult conversation, or a moment of mutual amusement that didn't need words. These are the moments that build emotional intimacy and create a sense of shared understanding. The Troubadours, in their constrained world, mastered this art of silent communication. In essence, by focusing on your gaze, you are tapping into a primal form of human connection. You are communicating your presence, your interest, and your emotions in a way that is often more profound and immediate than words. Just as a single look from a lady could inspire a troubadour to compose countless songs, your intentional gaze in modern dating can spark a connection that builds trust, conveys attraction, and makes the other person feel truly seen and valued. It is a powerful, silent declaration, a fundamental aspect of truly connecting with another human being.